Hey everyone, it is me again. If you're new to the channel, my name is Corey. My wife's name is Raquel. We live in the Philippines. Living in the Philippines now for 4 years. I also lived previously here on a military base. I was stationed here for 1 year back in 2001. So I have at least 5 years of living here. Just want to say this, and over 10 vacations over here. So when I'm talking about this video on what I've seen for spiders and snakes and weird little creatures, that it comes from 5 years of experience plus my 10 plus vacations. So I'm not acting like I'm a local, but I've been here for quite a bit of time compared to somebody that's just coming over here vacation or has a friend over here. So anyways, I never thought I would make a video like this because I think it's a little bit weird or unique of a topic. But the fact is, for the last 4 years I've been getting the question asked almost weekly by somebody that won't like, let's see, spiders, snakes, weird bugs, all kinds of creatures and little crawly things. I don't know how you want to call it, but it gets asked enough at this point. I'm just going to try and make like a 5 or 10 minute video on it to get it out of the way, because enough people ask that obviously it's enough of a concern. It's worth just doing a quick video on. So let's see, I've been here for okay, so the number one question compared to the last creature I'm going to talk about, the first question is what I get asked the most and I see the least of. However, the animal that I'm going to talk about last, the last two, are the things that I see the most of that no one ever asked me about. So in all this time, I've seen a total of 2 snakes, 2. And all my time here, my 5 years of living here, my 10 plus vacation, I've seen 2. My wife has seen 1, and then she told me she saw another one when she was growing up. So again, it's not high up on my list of things that I really worry about at all. Okay, so the number one creature I get asked about is snakes. Okay, I get asked this quite often from people that just don't like snakes. Maybe they have a phobia from it, something like that. So I'm going to tell you guys right now, I do not rank that high up on my list of things they're concerned about. I'm not saying there's not quite the variety here. When you go on Google, they're going to give you this whole list. If you show that list to a local, they're going to sit there and scratch their head and say that they've never seen 90% of them. And they don't know where this list came from, probably from scientists back in the 50s, 60s, or 70s that were exploring over here and wrote down all these species. But the fact is that there's 7,000 islands. So yeah, so I was saying I saw one green grass snake. It was the size of my pinky. It was probably 2 feet long, maybe a little bit longer. Definitely wasn't something to be concerned about. And then I saw one Philippines rat snake. It was mostly all black, had a little bit brown on it, and they're really good for pest control because all they're eating is rats and mice and things like that. I mean, it really wasn't big. Again, you can go on Google. They're going to give you a big list, but when I talk to everyone around here, they almost never see them. I would not put that high up on my list of things they're concerned about. So next up will be spiders. I've seen a lot of spiders here. I haven't seen any poisonous ones. I know that they technically have them, but I've never seen one when I showed the pictures to the locals. I've talked to people that are 65, 45, and 25, and no one's ever seen them. They think it's a weird list. They don't know where Google came up with it. Now, to be fully transparent with everyone, I often see spiders the size of my hand, and I'm not exaggerating here. There'll be big brown spiders. They're harmless. As soon as I see them, they will run off or scatter away. They're not poisonous. I'm not going to say friendly, but I haven't seen any that are a big concern. So I would say if you have a problem with lizards, well, that's a big concern because you're going to see a lot of lizards living in the Philippines. I see more lizards than I see Filipinos, okay? There's got to be 25 lizards over here for every 1 Filipino. You find little geckos everywhere. Every light bulb, you're going to find them around them anyways, at least out here in the province. But they're eating mosquitoes and bugs. But if you don't like lizards, that might be a concern for you. I will also see the larger geckos. They're probably, I don't know, maybe 8 to 10 inches. They're not huge. They're a little bit loud, but again, they're geckos. They run away. It's not a big deal. The largest thing I've seen over here for as far as lizard goes, I've seen a few monitors. They were water monitors, so I looked it up afterwards, and they're good size. I would not try to pick one up and play with it, but other than that, not a big deal. I haven't seen anything that's poisonous, not that there's a lot of poisonous lizards. Now, living here in the Philippines, I see a lot of crabs. Okay, there's a lot of crabs over here, and I'm not referring to the kind you see in the red light district. I'm not making a joke or anything like that, but I'm talking about they look like a soft-shelled crab. They're really fast. They only run to the left or the right. We will see them on the property, not all the time. At this point, we don't see too many because what we'll do is we'll put a bucket over them, put some cardboard underneath it so we can get them in the bucket, and then we'll release them somewhere else because we have cats and dogs and we don't want any of them getting hurt. But they're fast. So if you're wearing slippers or something, you want to be a little cautious. I wouldn't try to play with it. And then we see the other kind of crab very often that is actually in like a round shell, looks more like a hermit crab. And we see them pretty often. We've actually had them sneak into the house and like go behind the TV and stuff like that. It's kind of funny. I mean, you have to be cautious on how you pick them up. They're really slow, but we'll just bring them over to, you know, a piece of empty land or something like that and let them go. Again, because we have cats and dogs, we don't want them getting injured by the crab, but unless you have a phobia with crabs, that's not a big concern, but I do see them often. Okay, next up we have two other things that no one's ever asked me about. Never once, but yet I see them more than I see snakes or big spiders, okay? So one is gonna be scorpions. I see scorpions over here walking around. They'll be on the side of a tree, on, you know, on some lumber off to the side of the yard or something. I found them on the grass. I've never seen a poisonous one, but either way, a scorpion is something, you know, you don't want to get stung by it. It's going to hurt more than a bee or wasp or possibly really harm you. But there's something you have to be cautious about. If you're a foreigner, you're out here in the province walking around with flip-flops, again, in the province where you're around bushy areas like where I live or something like that, that is definitely something you have to be concerned with. It's not something you're probably going to ever see in the city, but here where I live, I do see scorpions. Okay, just to give you guys a quick story. First time I saw one over here, I was on vacation, and I grabbed my cell phone as a flashlight to walk myself into the CR or the bathroom because I couldn't find the light switch, and you know I was at a resort. I lift up the toilet seat. Okay, serious, true story. Then I see something on the ring. I'm not even awake, and I'm using my phone as a light, just a screen. So I turn the flashlight on for the phone, and then sure enough, there's a big scorpion right on the toilet seat. Okay, instantly. You know, as I'm holding the toilet seat, I'm thinking, if this thing had stung me, you know, let's not go into detail, but I think you guys are picking up what I'm saying. I'm just thinking I'm gonna get something amputated, or I'm gonna sit down on it and get a butt cheek amputated. I don't know. Either way, it'd be great to have a video go viral, but foreigner getting blank amputated in the Philippines is not how I would like to go viral. So anyways, I'm trying to be serious here, but you'll see scorpions. Okay, again, I've never seen one that's poisonous, so it's not something that I actively worry about. But if you don't like them, you know, you do want to be cautious, and again, wear sneakers, at least when you're out in the province, you know, in areas like this or something, not so much in the city. I talk to people in the city, they've never seen a scorpion there. I'm sure someone has, but I don't think you're going to find them as much as you are out here. Now, last thing on my list is something else that some people don't like, and it freaks them out, that I see every single day, or night I should say, but no one's ever asked me about it. No one ever once has ever mentioned it. Bats. Now, bats don't bother me at all. I grew up in New England, so I would see them, you know, at night. They're pretty small, though, at least in New England. Wasn't like something we were concerned with, but honestly, we were always putting up little bat houses so that we would have more bats, because we would want them to come out at night and eat the mosquitoes and the bugs and things like that. Well, here in the Philippines, okay, I'm not exaggerating. I will post up the name of what they actually are, because I'm going to say it incorrectly here. My first month here, I would kind of laugh every night because I would sit on the back patio, and we didn't have the roof yet and it wasn't screened in. So I would see bats flying back and forth from the mango tree, and I didn't care. And then all of a sudden, one flies over me. And anyone knows what a bat looks like. Obviously, the wings are more like this as opposed to like a straight line. Like, you know what a bird wing looks like. It does not look like a bat wing. So I see this thing fly over me into the tree, and I'm like, no, that can't be right. that it was like way too close, or I just saw it too fast. I wasn't quite sure, it just didn't make sense to me that I thought I saw what I did. So I just sat there for a minute, kind of in awe. And then all of a sudden, I see it fly over me again. And this thing was big. I'm not joking here. It had to have been 4 feet, the wingspan from one side to the other. So I'm like, what the heck is going on? Is this actually real? Anyway, so I Google it, and sure enough, the Philippines fox something. I'm going to put it up on the screen because I don't want to missay it, or say it incorrectly, I should say. But either way, they have like a, 1.7 meter wingspan, or over 4 feet. I think it's like a 5+ foot wingspan. I'll put up the name. But if you don't like bats, and you're in the province, and especially around fruit trees and things like that, it's something, it could concern you if you don't like bats. They don't bother me, but I've had enough people ask about all the other creatures. So, it might be a little weird. Anyways, I'm going to try to wrap this video up because I wanted to make it short. I don't want to sit here and talk about the weird things that I see in the Philippines, but it's funny that people ask me the most about spiders and snakes, and I don't see a lot of them at all. But no one ever asked me about scorpions or bats, and I see them every day. Not every day, but I see them quite often. So anyways, thank you guys for watching, and I will talk to you soon.